What a sad day for all of us Illini fans. Uh, Star Coleman Hawkins for the University of Illinois has decided to forego the NBA draft and step into the transfer portal world and most likely will not be an Illinois Fighting Illini coming this fall into the winter for our Illinois Fighting Illini basketball team. Just another piece that we have lost this year. And Coleman Hawkins has done so much for the University of Illinois and for the basketball team. To say I'm shocked, I am shocked because I thought that he would not play for anybody else other than the University of Illinois. He is a very rare breed when it comes to athletics in college. He was at Illinois for his entire career up until this point. He could have left when the transfer portal became a thing, decided not to enter the transfer portal, stick it out, love playing for Coach Brett Underwood, and decided to go to the NBA draft last year and decide to come back to University of Illinois. This year, it looked like he was foregone conclusion of I'm going to go to the NBA, and I thought he would get drafted in the NBA. So let's just kind of talk about it, Illinois fans. Let's just have a little venting session. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel first. If you're watching for the first time on this channel, like and subscribe. Check it out on Apple and Spotify, and check out all the other videos. Subscribe to the podcast. So Coleman Hawkins, just like last year, decided to go to the NBA draft. Last year, got told, where he was going to maybe fall if he was drafted at all, and thought that, okay, let me come back to University of Illinois. Him and Terrence Shannon Jr. saw what the roster was going to look like, and it ended up being a good decision because they become Big Ten champs. They get to the Sweet 16, lose to a very good UConn team, seemed to make the right decision. And this was probably his best career year for Illinois. So you would think that this would be enough steps for him to get to that NBA level. And you think that he would fit into the NBA because he's tall, he's lengthy, can kind of play in the post on offense, and he can shoot the three-pointer just the way the NBA is set up. I thought that could be a good fit for somebody. Not saying he was going to start, not saying he was going to be whatever, but just thought that this could be the time to go to the NBA. Reported yesterday that he got told something that he's not going to get picked high enough for him. Depending on where he gets picked up, he's looking at money. And now that the name, image, and likeness is still a thing in college, because that $20 million pay is not coming till probably next fall. So he would not be getting paid from that revenue sharing thing yet because they still got to figure that part out. I think what happened was he got told where he might end up in the NBA draft. And you look at where you get drafted. We don't know his finances. Just something to where he's going to stand there and say, okay, I'm getting told this. It's not always a guarantee. Do I go and take this risk and maybe end up on the D or G League, whatever it's called? Do I end up then having to go play overseas, comparing finances? Do I make more money in college with the name, image, and likeness? And I think that's what happened. I think he was told, hey, I'm going to make more money staying in college for another year, then go after it the next. So he'll be coming into his fifth year. That part to me does not shock me. The shocking part is him deciding to leave Illinois. That's the part that's shocking. And as a fan, and I'm seeing it on Twitter, a lot of hate coming his way. And I don't think necessarily hate has to come to him. We can be frustrated. Like, I'm frustrated that he's not going to come back because with some of the people coming in on Illinois' roster, it's set up to be good again. In addition, look at their coaching staff. It's set up again. That part I'm frustrated with, but the hate that he's getting from Illinois fans, I think, is unjustified because he's a guy that gave up. Like I said at the very beginning, he could have transferred, he could have left. He decided to come back. He never like, hey, I'm going to leave. He never. The only time maybe it thought was when he went to the NBA draft to look at it last year, but he came back to Illinois. And so I always thought this year, because when he goes in, when you put your name in, you have to enter the transfer portal. And I always just thought if he came back, he was coming back to Illinois because is there unfinished business with getting to the Elite Eight, Final Four, winning a championship. We shouldn't hate on him because he came back to try to do whatever he could, got a couple Big Ten titles under his belt. He's been to the NCAA tournament, has done everything he could do at Illinois besides win the championship. And so the hate that's giving to him, we got to stop. We can be frustrated. Like I'm frustrated because if he came back to Illinois, he without a doubt would be like that. He was a leader, but he would be the leader. You know what I'm saying? So we're frustrated and shocked, but we can't hate him, right? The frustrating part is that our traditional college athletic views of how college athletics look, the way we all grew up watching it, is you like the respect of the college and not the money, right? The traditionalists of us college athletic viewers, that's the part we can get frustrated with. But there's nothing we can do about it. This is the new wave of college athletics where until we get this media streaming stuff done within the Power Five, this is what it is, where money is a key motivating factor. It's a piece of the puzzle. And so for him, if he's going to make money and he's maybe going to make more money somewhere else outside of Champaign, I mean, that's quite possible. Is he going to look at a bigger market? I mean, this is a motivating factor. Another piece I think that we could look at is he looking at the roster and who they've brought in, thinking the way his style of play is, does he fit well with what Illinois has on their roster? I think that was another thing that he looked at. And I bet this was a conversation, and I am not reporting this. Don't know if it'll ever be reported. It might. It may already be out there that I haven't seen. He could have talked to Brad Underwood about this. That's the new conversations of what position would he play in this roster and would he fit well with these people. He came back with Terrence Shannon because he already knew what he was getting in that, player. I think that's another thing that he had to think about. But it's a sad day for Illinois fans because of him going. But we also have to sit here and say that we have to understand and that we need to thank Coleman Hawkins for everything he's done. And we have to wish him good luck to whatever endeavors that he goes and does. This isn't a one and done hitter. He didn't hit it and quit it. He donated 4 years of his playing career here to Illinois, which is very rare because people are hopping and leaving left and right. I love Terrence Shannon as a player for Illinois, but he did that. He was at Texas Tech, jumped to Illinois. So even he moves around. Other people on Illinois' roster are doing the same thing. So he's a very rare breed in that he gave 4 years. He's getting this 5th year because he had a COVID year that he could still use. So again, another rare breed because the COVID years are starting to go away. So another rare breed that he's now just using his COVID year. It'll be very weird to see him in a different jersey next year. There's still a slimmer of a chance he comes back to Illinois just because you go in the portal. There's always a chance that you could come back if Illinois has a scholarship and it all works itself out that way. But I don't know what other people's thoughts are on like what was your reaction to when you saw this? Was it shock? Was it anger? Was it disappointment? Was it understanding? I think for me it was all of them except the hating him and blaming him because we have to understand the big question mark is where could he possibly end up? I really hope he doesn't end up with a Big Ten team. I really don't think that he could do that. Um, a couple places I think that he could possibly go if he decided to, not that he decided. Where could he possibly go now that he is in the portal? One place I think that could really use his assistance is Duke. Duke could use another guy like him that could play in the post and go out and shoot and bring that edginess to them on defense. And I hate saying that. I don't hate Duke, but it's not somebody that you sit there and root for. But I think that Duke could do that. And I think the market of Duke's basketball program, because they're considered a blue blood, and I hate the word blue blood. I think Illinois has a great program and establishment, but you also have to look and see the locations. I'm not saying Duke, where they're located, is a big time city, but I think around that program and the donors they could have for their basketball program, I think that that's a place that he could end up. If you're thinking about money, another, if he wanted to go somewhere that is playing a style of basketball that he can play, you would maybe have to think Arkansas or Alabama. Arkansas is really up and down, fast paced, trying to shoot it, as well as Alabama, and the success that Alabama had last year. You know they're starting on the rise. They got pretty far in the tournament. Maybe he feels like he could bring that same type of flow of play, just like with Duke, but with Arkansas or Alabama, that he could bring that fast pace, high flying type of play that Illinois would do in fast breaks. And they have really a lot of athletes around him that are kind of young. So he could really come in and be that leader with experience that they do need. So I think those are real good stopping points. I don't see UConn because of how the game went against Illinois. I don't think that he knows that would not look very good to leave Illinois and go to UConn. Again, I don't see any Big Ten teams just because of what he has done to the Big Ten in his career. Those are just some of the big Power Five names that I'm, thinking about. He can maybe look towards like a California's type of schools. I don't know if UCLA and USC would be on his radar at all. I don't know if he would then maybe look at Oregon and them because they're coming into the Big Ten now. And so I don't know if those are necessarily be on his radar to go to. Maybe a Baylor to go down south, another team that the style of play similar to what Illinois was doing the last couple of years. That might change a little bit this year with who they have. He can maybe fit well into the lengthy style of players that Baylor already has put in place, and around another coach that has been there, done that. So those type of teams to start to think about maybe where he could land. And outside of those, and I could be wrong, he probably could go to none of them, but I think those are real destination spots. So if you're thinking of warm weather, even you could think of Arizona. People picked them to win the championship. I had them in a bracket to win the championship. So we also have to think, and this is a frustrating thing to hear, especially being an Illinois fan. And if Illinois fans hear this, if he's going to come to the transfer portal and go somewhere else and possibly make more money, he has to go to a market for that basketball program where he's going to make the money. But also, he's not going to just go to a place that's going to be mediocre. He wants to go somewhere where he feels like he has a chance to compete for the conference championship and into the NCAA tournament, which sucks because you would think Illinois is that because they've risen and they're getting to that national brand. So I feel that hurts me to say. So when you think about it from that point of view, is it going to be like in Arizona where it's warmer? The basketball aura program there, what they were doing last year, where people picked them to win the championship, are they put in a position to try to get and win that championship? Alabama, because of the style of play and physicality, fits right in, and they were right there, at far in the NCAA tournament. Baylor's not too far removed from winning one. So, though that's where my mind is going. I don't know about Kansas. That was another one. I don't know if he would. Kansas for really, if you want to talk about basketball aura and the name, image, and likeness, that right there, because it's hard to think of like a big time town that, if we're thinking of pros, you would say Chicago, New York, LA, but that's not the way college basketball works. And so you start then to have to think about the aura of the program, their collective with types of boosters, and that type of thinking outside of since they're not pros. And so this all sucks because I thought Illinois could be that place. It does have an aura of basketball. It's there. But if he thinks he can go somewhere else that maybe is bigger than Champaign, if there's players that he wants to play with, and what sucks is you have to think that if he's making this decision, that he already kind of has an idea of where he wants to go. It's freaking free agency right now until we get this media deals done. It's like free agency, and it sucks because it goes away from traditional college athletics, like I said, and it does suck that he's leaving. But I still think Illinois' roster is set up to be put back in the position that they were in last year. Brad Underwood and staff are fantastic. They're bringing in these long, lengthy athletic players, point guard type of players, shooting guard, I guess, more type of players. And so I think that they're set up to do that. And at the end of the day, I think it was about money. And I think that Coleman Hawkins looked at the roster and said, how do I fit in? What does Coach Underwood want to do on offense? I'm sure they had that conversation of exactly how would he fit in. And I guarantee you, Coach Underwood did not want him to leave. But ultimately, he also has to make a decision that's best for him. And, if this is the best decision for him, it's the best decision for him. So Illinois fans out there that are constantly right now just bashing on him and hating on him. I know maybe he drove us crazy with some things he might have done on the court. A lot of that type of stuff I've seen. But ultimately, he would hit big time shots, play defense, try to be a leader out there, was a part of those teams, a big reason why Big Ten titles, getting as far as we did in the NCAA tournament, making the NCAA tournament. Again, we have to remember, Illinois fans, where we have come from. So hate towards him or Brad Underwood, we have to remember where we come from and that we have to make this a constant thing, just like Coach Bielema and staff for the football team are trying to do as well. So I think we always just constantly need to remember that. So Coleman Hawkins no longer an Illinois Fighting Illini. Maybe there's that 1%, 2% that he comes back, but I think he is going to be gone. Be on the lookout for him to go somewhere else that is going to be in a basketball media market where he can make a little bit more money with the name, image, and likeness, and on a team that he feels like is going to compete for a conference title and maybe can make a run in the NCAA tournament. So be on the lookout for something like that. So stop hating on him. And while you're not hating on him, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel, follow and rate on Apple and iTunes, subscribe to it on Apple. Check out all the other videos, tons and tons and tons and tons of videos out there. Check out descriptions in the link below. Check out my book that fell over embarrassingly during the video. So you want to be a football coach, truth about football coaching that nobody tells you. It's on Amazon. It's a short read. Go check that out as well. So thanks again for everybody watching and or listening. What are your thoughts, Illinois fans, on the Coleman Hawkins situation? I want to hear from Illinois fans, not the outside world haters that don't know anything about Illinois basketball just from what they see in highlights and stuff. So true Illinois fans, comment on this. So thank you guys again for watching and or listening. This is Coach Steve, and I will see you guys next time.